It's nice to see you again, Westchester. It is Thursday, March 19th, 2026, and I'm Bonita with the Westchester Chronicle. This month's Borough Council session started off with a hearing to create a new ordinance requiring Borough Council approval prior to any participation by the Westchester Police Department in Immigration Enforcement Authority under Section 287G of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Entering into a 287G agreement would authorize U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, to delegate state and local law enforcement officers the authority to perform specified immigration officer functions under ICE's direction and oversight. Councilwoman Lisa Kearns shared her concerns about allowing ICE to influence our local police.
I think it's important for everybody to know that this is not just an intellectual exercise for those of us up here. This is something that we all really care about, and we're just trying to do the right thing. And for individuals like me, and I'm sure other people up here on council, these aren't just, random constituents we're talking about. They're our neighbors. They're our friends. They're this wonderful elderly woman who speaks very little English, and I speak very little Spanish, but every week she brings me homemade empanadas and enchiladas and tacos simply because we're friends. It's my neighbor, close neighbor, who's babysitter for her disabled daughter. Her babysitter's husband was snatched up by ICE and held for 4 months in one of these detention centers before he was finally released and allowed to return home. It's professionals I work with in my volunteer work who are, established, been US citizens for 30 years, own homes here in Westchester, volunteer all over but they speak English with a slightly Spanish accent. So even they don't leave their homes without carrying documentation with them in America. I think we all have a role to play in combating this evil. And I'll just close with the final sentence from State Representative Chris Pielli's letter of support for this ordinance. And he says, "I urge this council to meet this moment in our history with whatever legal means possible, no matter how limited, as we face these unprecedented challenges to our rights and liberties."
Councilman Brian McGinnis first brought up the idea for the ordinance last month as a precaution to, quote, add a layer of transparency, end quote, to official acts in the borough, as it was noted that other municipalities had entered into 287G agreements without the approval of their respective councils and management teams, such as Dixon City in Lackawanna County, Quarryville in Lancaster County, and Morrisville in Bucks County. Borough Council voted 7-0 to pass the ordinance. Also on the docket for the Borough Council meeting was a vote to direct the Borough Council solicitor to prepare an ordinance regarding data centers. Data centers are large facilities used to house computer systems and servers to allow for higher processing of data. Last April, we reported on House Bill 502, a measure that would have created a board that could have possibly fast-tracked the creation of data centers in local communities. That bill did not pass. The Municipal Planning Code is what gives local governments the authority to use their land. It applies to all municipalities in Pennsylvania except for Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Supporters of the bill, like Chair of the Energy Committee, Representative Elizabeth Fielder of Philadelphia County, insist it will not force anything on local municipalities. It will just be a tool for local legislators to refer to. However, opponents of the bill have told us that they see it as data center lobbyists trying to go around the traditional process and put their recommendations in the Municipal Planning Code, so their recommendations will be seen as coming from the government and not industry groups. At this time, Westchester does not have any ordinances regarding the recommendations, limitations, or prohibitions on possible data centers that could be built in the borough. The solicitor will present the proposed ordinance at next month's Smart Growth meeting. Moving on to community events, the 25th annual CRC Streams Cleanup, held by the Chester Ridley Crum Watershed Association, is taking place this Saturday, the 21st. Each year, participants volunteer to clean up the streams of the Chester, Ridley, and Crum Creek watersheds. This year, however, Westchester's cleanup is a bit more restricted than usual. Due to the recent discharge of chlorinated water and a chemical foam from Atmos Technologies, a waste management service company located in West Goshen, participants in the Goose Creek cleanup event have been advised to not enter Goose Creek until the issue is resolved. We reached out to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection regarding the cleanup process, and this is the response we received from Regional Communications Manager Robin Briggs. The release primarily affected areas of Goose Creek in West Goshen Township, Westchester Borough, and downstream portions of the creek. On 7 occasions from February 28th through March 9th, 2026, DEP inspected the release location, conditions in Goose Creek, and provided oversight of cleanup activities. No further fish kill has been observed during the continued investigation or has been reported downstream. On-site cleanup activities were completed at the end of the day, Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, and the outfall plug was removed. DEP collected surface water samples on February 28th and March 4th, 2026 for analysis of surfactants, detergents, and foaming agents. The analytical results showed a decrease in the levels of surfactants over time due to the cleanup efforts. By Monday, March 9th, 2026, significant rainfall had occurred in the area. Stream cleanup activities were complete, and DEP's inspections indicated the stream at the outfall and several locations downstream were clear, and the foam was not visible at any of the locations assessed. The stream has returned to its pre-release condition. DEP's stream inspections and oversight of the cleanup efforts are now complete. We have contacted Atmos Technologies several times via telephone and their online contact form, and we have received no response. Though they are taking the Goose Creek out of the Goose Creek cleanup, that still leaves the cleanup. Instead of directly entering the creek, participants will be cleaning the surrounding areas around the creek. Led by CRC Watershed Cleanup Site Coordinator Courtney Finneran, participants will be meeting at the Public Works Building Saturday morning, filling up on coffee and donuts, and dispersing along the creek to give it a well-needed clean. If you want to contribute to the effort, feel free to grab some gloves and trash bag, a grabby stick if you're feeling fancy, and help clean up the town. Together, we can continue to keep Westchester beautiful. And that's all for today's episode. As always, we want to thank you for your time, and we hope to see you soon. Remember, if you want to subscribe to our weekly newspaper, click the link in the comments below. It's only $7 a month, and every penny goes directly towards supporting local news. Until next time, I'm Bonita with the Westchester Chronicle.